Well, good morning, everyone. We're going to get started like we normally do. So we're going to find all that length in our spine, really stacking our vertebrae. We're going to chin tuck back for 10. Let's get ready and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Let's reset the spine. Pull all that length up again. Now we're going to do our head turns for 10. Ready? And begin. 1, back to center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, now we're going to go into our warm-up mode here. We're going to do an AB, 30 seconds, no rest in between. We're going to do our cherry picker. We've been doing this one outwards, inwards, or middle, inwards, and then an arm circle back, okay? So out, middle, in, arm circle back. After that, we're going to do our ham curls and tap backs. Okay, so if you're seated, we're on the edge of our chair, so we have room to tap those toes back. And standing, it's more of a heel back. 2 rounds of that, and then we're going to go into our back stroke rotation. It's going to look the same, seated or standing. Okay, and then we're going to go into, if you're seated, we're going to do leg extension, knee, knee. Okay, leg, knee, knee. Okay, if we're standing, we're going to squat, sit, squat, knee, knee. Okay, sit, squat, knee, knee. Okay, at your pace. Okay, all right, here we go. We're going to start those cherry pickers, seated or standing. Let's get ready and begin. Here we go. So that's too loud. Out, middle, in, arm circle back. About 5 more seconds here, and then we're going to go into those ham curls with that rowboat pull back. Here we go. We're going to go back to that cherry picker next, okay? Five more seconds here. 2 and 1. Here we go, okay? Out, middle, in, circle back. All right, we're going to move on after this one to those, or no, we still have our ham curls. Second set. Here we go. I'm with it. After this set here, we're going to move to those backstroke rotations. They're going to look the same, seated or standing. Two and 1. Okay. Seated or standing, we're going to follow our hand with our eyes as we rotate up and over and then sweep it around. Three, 2, and 1. So now we're going to do sit squat, knee and twist, knee and twist. Or you're doing your leg extension, knee and twist, either or. Three, two, and one. Back to our backstroke. Three, two, and one. Okay, final one. Sit squat, knee, knee, or your leg extension, knee, knee. Three, two, and one. Okay, guys, that is our 4-minute warm up there. So we're going to move along. And we're going to do 10 exercises all the way down through 3 rounds today. Okay. So keeping on with those longer ones, they seem to be a little more popular here. So just like last week, we're going to start with a ground to overhead. Okay. So lightweight. If we're seated, we're thinking up. We're not going to actually put it on the floor, but we're pretending we're picking it up off the floor and then putting it on the shelf. Pick it up off the floor, put it on the shelf. Okay, if we're standing, it's pick it off the floor like our hinge and row and put it on the shelf. Okay, so that is our first exercise. And then our second one is, these are the same first 2 as last week. We're going to do our side step with that goalpost fly. Okay, they're our first 2. Then we're going into our single leg bicep curl. Okay, and then our 4 count Russian twist where we're all seated. 3, 4, leaning back, and then we're going to reach it forward, bring it back. Okay, they're our first 4. I'll keep us going as we go along so we can get moving here. So seated or standing, let's start with our ground to overhead. 45 seconds is going on the clock, okay? All right, we're gonna grab one weight. Here we go. Ready? And begin, okay? So my feet are under my hips, belly button to spine. As I hinge, I pick it up, pushing my hips back, and then I put it on the shelf. So I'm pushing my hips back to pick it up, and then I'm pushing my hips forward by squeezing my glutes and driving them forward to stand back up. Go at a pace that feels good for your body, and at a pace where you're searching for that mind-muscle connection, okay? Connection to the source of the movement. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, moving right along. This one's body weight. All right, we're going to come out side to side. If we're seated, we got those lateral taps. Okay, let's get ready and begin. Here we go. All right, so anytime we're doing this with this goalpost arm here, we're thinking about strengthening the muscles in the back of the shoulders, right? And stretching through the front. At any point this gets really tiresome, you can always bring your hands a little lower, okay? Ten more seconds here. Move on. 2, and 1. Okay, next one is our suitcase sit squat. So we're going to hold 2 dumbbells here, right? We're going to sit it down like we're holding suitcases or briefcases. You're going to do an alternating leg extension if you're seated. Here we go. We're going to sit it down, press through the heels to stand. If you're seated, here we are, right here. If you'd like, you can even hold those weights, work on your grip strength too. I'm really trying to make that mind muscle connection of when I stand up, pushing through my heels and feeling my glutes and quads, the front of my thighs working as I'm standing, searching for it. 5 more seconds here. 2, and time, okay? Balance bicep curl is next, okay? So half the time we'll be on one leg, half the time the other, same if we're seated. All right, let's get ready. And pick a lead leg, find a space to stare at. Okay, try to keep the elbows close to the rib cage. Three, 2, and 1. Other leg. And time on those. All right, all coming down to that seated. All right, we're going to turn my tube this way, closer towards the edge, so that when I twist, I'm kind of like scoop, right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to center, reach, bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to center, reach, bring it back. That nice rotation through the body, the thoracic spine, core working to hold that lean back. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, the next one we're going to do that overhead hold, right? And we're going to do those little heel to toe taps. Heel. All right, so my heel is out and my toe is the inner one. We're going to alternate. Here we go. All right, if it gets too hard to hold overhead, you want to hold here. You can even put a remember, if you need to, bring your hands down here, you can bring them in front. You got to hold the sides. Okay, as long as you're dialed in on feeling this core activation here. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, moving right along. So we're going to go into our hinge and row. So we went through the spine. Dumbbells are going to pull back towards the pocket after we hinge forward. We're going to bring it back to center. Okay, seated or standing. Roll those shoulders back and down. Ready? And begin. Hinge, row. Finish the hinge. Ten more seconds here. 2, and 1. Okay, next one. Lateral shift. So we're seated, lateral taps. Okay, getting into our side glutes. And if we're standing, right, sink, hip back, and hip back. Okay, let's give a little reach to the opposite side. And dial in on driving through the heel of your foot to bring you back into this starting position, okay? Hip back, right? Toes are facing forward, okay? Keep the toes forward so that our knees don't lead this lateral shift. We want the hip to lead it. Three, two, and one. All right, next one. We're gonna do our wood chopper with the knee raise all on one side. Okay, so this is where we start, the weight or water bottle on one side, and we exhale and sweep over and raise our knee. Ready? Begin. If the knee raise becomes too much, you can take that part out. Just focus on this chop right here, starting at one shoulder, the top, coming down to the opposite hip. We're sitting upright for this one. Five more seconds on this side. Two and one. Okay. Other side. All right. After this one, that's one round. Okay. So we'll go back to the top after this. All right. Let's start getting ourselves set up for the other side. Find that length in your spine. Ready? And begin. Now chop it over. Add that knee. Halfway. Ten more seconds. Remember, you could always take that knee out. Just focus on the shoulder to hip here. That downward rotation. Two and one. Okay, guys, that was round one. Okay, so two more times just like that. We can get a drink. We're going to start right back at the top with our ground to overhead. Okay, seated or standing. We have a weight here. All right, we're going to pick it up and put it away. So let's get ready here. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go, round 2. So my feet are about underneath my hips to shoulders, just like our hinge in Rome. Pushing those hips back, keeping my core engaged. When we're picking this weight up off the floor, you really do want to make sure you're thinking about your lower body assisting you to stand back up. 10 more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay. Back to our lateral side steps with those goalpost flies. Some body weight here. 3, 2, and 1. Very similar if you're seating or just lateral tapping with the same arms. A little past halfway here. Almost there. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, moving right along. We're going to go into our suitcase squat. Holding on to 2 weights on either side here. Alternating leg extension. If you're seated, or a sit squat. Here we go. So, lower it down. Core stays pulled back the whole time, right? The whole time I'm trying to remain present, that I got to keep that belly button pulled back. Pushing the floor away to stand up, right? Don't think of your head as leading the movement to standing. Think of your feet as leading the move. By driving through, all those muscles up your body have to engage. Three, 2, and 1. Okay. Coming up on our balanced bicep curl. Okay. If you have more than 1 pair of weights, you'll probably be shifting to the lighter pair now. All right, let's pick a leg and begin. Imagine you're holding 2 pieces of paper in between those elbows and the rib cage. You can't let them drop. Find a space to stare at. 3, 2, and 1. Other leg. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Next, we have our Russian twist. Okay, 4 count Russian twist to that forward reach. This one from the side, didn't I? Side profile. The edge of my chair. I'm leaning back. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it to center. Exhale. Reach it right back. 3, 4. Center. Reach. Bring it back. 2, 4. Center. Reach. Bring it back. Reach. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Okay. Next, we're going to that overhead hold with the opposite heel and toe tap, right? So as one heel is tapping forward, the other foot, the toe is tapping back. Switch, switch, switch. Okay. Scooping and leaning. Here we go. Remember that pillow option if you need one. Okay. Something like this. Right. Just take a little pillow. And it's helping me a little bit, but it's a pillow. It's soft, so it's still working, okay? If it gets too aggressive, bring your arms down, forward to the sides, okay? Pull that belly button back. Remember, the time's just a guide. If it's too long to do it the whole time, take a little extra recovery. 2, and 1. Okay, back to some standing. We got our hinge and row and our lateral shift. Okay, so hinge and row is first. We're going to roll those shoulders back and down. Feet are underneath our hips. Toes are forward. Ready? And begin. Let's push those hips back. Row it. Finish the hinge. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Lateral shift, okay? So either lateral taps if you're standing, or if you're seated. If you're standing, keep your toes facing forward. All right, here we go. So remember, it's hip push back, okay? This hip goes back versus this knee coming forward or out this way, okay? Back, drive it up, back. Reach towards that opposite foot will help you get into that back hip position. Less than 10 seconds. And time, okay. Now we're moving on to our next set of core exercises. Those wood choppers, all on one side, then all on the other. Let's sit upright for this one, right? Start at one shoulder, and when you're ready, here we go. Lightweight, water bottle. Remember, you can take the knee out if it becomes too much. Keep that length through your spine. Exhale as you sweep that dumbbell down and over. Down and across. Five more seconds this side. And time, okay. Little recovery. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, let's get ready and begin. Past halfway. Five seconds. 2 and 1. Nice work, guys. That was round 2 there. Okay, so let's recover. 20 minutes down on the workout part. All right, 24 total with a warm up. Okay, so we're going to go into one more round, guys. Okay, so all the way to the top, going back to our ground to overhead, our picking up and put it away. All right, so grab one weight here. Get ready. And feet are under hips or shoulders. Let's get ready and begin. We're going to pick it up, belly button to spine, put it on the shelf, right? We want to think about protecting our lower back, right? We don't want to pick it up with our lower back. We want to pick it up with our glutes and our hamstrings, right? So that's why we're hinging back and using our glutes and hamstrings to push forward. Five seconds. 2 and 1. Okay. Suitcase, or no, sorry, side step with our goalpost fly, okay? Getting into these glute meads, getting our back of our shoulders ready, and begin. It's one of the things we always want to think about is like some mobility work for our shoulders and our hips, right? Those ball and socket joints. I don't want to pay a little attention to them. Body weight movements are great because we can work through our range of motion. Get your heart rate up too. And one as well. Okay. Suitcase squats. All right. Get our briefcases in hand. We're not going to put them down as they sit down and stand up, but we're going to alternate those leg extensions. Here we go. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Sit it all the way down and then push through the heels up. All the way down. Push the floor away. Right? So we're thinking it starts from the bottom, our feet to stand up. It's not starting from our head pulling us up, right? Ten more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay. Onto our single leg bicep curl, seated or standing. Lighter weights here to focus on our balance. Take a side and begin. Remember that paper, that imaginary paper in between your elbows and rib cage. Three, 2, and 1. Other side. Two and 1. Okay. Moving right along. We're going to take a seat for that Russian twist lean back to reach for count. All right. So scooping, right? So I have room to kind of lean back here, holding my core. Here we go. We're going to twist. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it to center. Reach it. Pull it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Center. Reach. Pull it back. Two, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and time. Okay, not done with this core set though. All right, we're just gonna adjust, and then we're gonna hit our overhead hold. We're still gonna lean back to the heel, opposite heel and toe tap. Let's get ready. Scoop it and begin. It should feel challenging, so if you have to change your arms or anything, stop a little early, that's okay. Keep on thinking of pulling that belly button back towards your spine. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Boy, okay. Back to standing here. We got hinge and row. Okay, so we just worked on that core. Now we're going to work on the back side. Grab the weights, rolling shoulders back and down, feet under hips. Ready and begin. Push those hips back, low row it. Push those hips forward. Almost there, 5 seconds. 2 and 1. Ooh, okay. So lateral shift here, okay? Nice wide stance. Our toes are forward. Remember, if you're seated, you're doing your alternating lateral taps. Make sure your toes are forward when we do this. So here we go. Sink it back. Reach. Reach. So dial in on pushing through this leg. This leg right here that's bent. Push, push, push through the heel. Push, push, push through the heel, okay? If you feel like your toe, the ball of your foot is more where you're at, think of making sure you're leading with your hip pushing back versus your knee going forward or out to the side. Ten more seconds here. A lot of stabilizing muscles in this lateral movement. And time on those, okay? Final set here, back to our core. Going into those wood choppers with the knee raise here on one side and then the other. Let's pick a side and begin. Here we go. Keeping that length in my spine for this one. I'm not leaning back. You can get rid of the knee raise and just keep it the chop as well, okay? Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. All right, one more exercise, other side. Getting hot on this left side. All right, here we go, final set, ready? And begin. We're gonna sweep it over, option to add the knee. And if it gets to be too much, you can just take the knee out of it. Ten more seconds. 2 and 1. All right, guys. Nice work here. Let's go ahead and stretch out here. And we'll start with, let's start from the bottom up today. So we'll start with our ankle flexion and extension here. All right, so 5 flex and extension, and then 5 circles each direction. Good, same thing, other side. It's important to take care of our joints. Good. All right, from there, let's take it into our figure 4, finding our length, right? Pulling up and then sinking forward through that hip, feeling our glute stretch here. It's not a big range of motion that we lean forward, but we are maintaining that length. Good, and then before we undo this leg like this, we're just going to rotate around, leverage on the thigh, on the bent knee that's elevated, and look behind the shoulder. When you're ready, come back to center. Flip legs here, figure 4 it, find that length. Slight lean forward with the length in our spine, searching for that stretch through our glute. And when you're ready, bring it back up. And now we're going to go ahead and twist over that side. And then bring it back when you're done there. And then we'll hit our neck and trap. And when you're ready, same thing, other side, gently pulling and reaching. Good. And then from here, let's give a big inhale up. Exhale. Palms to heart. One more. Inhale up. And exhale. Palms to heart. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's workout. If I can answer any questions for you, I will do my best for you guys.
Okay. But what can I do to my neck is a little stiff. What can I do to like really relax that?
Maybe, make sure you're warm. Like maybe if it's like after a shower or, like we just worked out, your body's warm, Yeah. I would just look at some of those, your neck. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of we're sleeping wrong and everything, but a doorway stretch is a really good one. Like if you imagine, like say, bedroom door. Yeah. And you like step it forward a little bit like this. So you get a stretch through the front, right? Okay. And then I would do it again. So you do like maybe 20, 30 seconds kind of with one lead foot forward and then come out of it and then lean into it again with the other foot. Okay. That'll get the front. And then just like we did our neck and trap stretches, little gentle press and hold. And then the sides, the front, and then the back of the shoulders here. You might want to do a little bit of a stretch this way, but if it continues, if it's not something like you just slept wrong or a little exercise, I always suggest go see your doctor. Maybe they can tell you what to, you know what I mean? Like if it gets aggressive, But some light stretching, I just always make sure you're not forcing anything, right? And just trying to relax into it. Pre-garden, because you are going to be bending and everything like that. I would definitely like some of our warm-up moves that we do, like our cherry picker, because we are actually, you can imagine that we're bending down and picking something up. So I would think about that, doing our 4-count cherry pickers, right? And then like some lateral shifts too. So we're getting one leg at a time. We're getting this little stretch through our legs, warming up our hips. Okay, so our 4-count cherry pickers and maybe these lateral shifts side to side. Okay, and then even something as simple as like cat cows, right? I mean, think about how important our spine health is and the fact that our hips and shoulders control the movement of our spine here. So why don't you try that? Like a cat cow, a lateral shift, and a 4-count cherry picker with like an arm circle back as like, and maybe do like 3 sets as a little bit of a warm up, and just be very mindful with your movement, right? Just try to stay very connected with your body. And it's not about a bunch of volume. It's about really engaging and feeling, your target areas you're working. So hopefully that's a good one for you. I mean, the important thing is you want to make sure you're not lifting from your back, right? Like, so if like this was, if I'm like picking something up and I'm like doing something like see this roundness here, like trying to avoid this because that's picking up with your lower back. Okay. If I'm going to pick up like this, I'm using everything in here, which can cause injury. So that way, when we're picking something up, that's why we try to keep our shoulder and our hip from here to here fixed. So if I'm fixed, if this is one unit, I can't lift through my back. You see that? It's like, I can't lift through my back. I have to lift below. I have to lift down here instead, right? So when I'm doing like our hinge and row, so now I'm lifting like this, right? Hips back. See how I can like almost balance a tray on my back? We want to get in the habit of hips back, shoulders staying fixed with the hips versus saying, Okay, let me come pick you up here, right? You see that, like, I'm not, my shoulders and hips aren't fixed, right? Like my shoulders aren't moving at the same rate there. So just think of this and this as being one unit, remembering that if we keep our shoulders quiet and our hips quiet, it's going to keep our spine quiet, right? So quiet, quiet, quiet. The spine didn't move. It's just moving forward and back through the hips. So that's the thing. You want to think of keeping the hips back versus just kind of leaning forward and using your lower back to pick up. I hope that was helpful. That's a tricky one to talk about. You know what? There's some things that I've been working on, like with shoulders and whatnot for like, so like some little, if you think of little like, okay, just kind of like working through your shoulders. I'm going back and forth, these little movements here, right? And then this, I started with this, right? And then for the reach, length, length. So if you just think of these little tiny, almost like a cat paw pushing, right? Like a little paw push, pull push, pull push, pull push. Okay, so I'm not forcing any stretch, but I'm feeling some lengthening, right? I'm trying to get a little bit of movement and lengthening, right? Okay, so we have this forward side, or this little twist, okay? Length, that a cat paw push, let's call it that. I like that. Right? And then even, again, you can't go wrong with like cat cows, whether it's your seated variation, right? Okay, so again, just kind of connecting your shoulders with your spine and your hips here. So see if some of that works for you, a little bit of like lengthening and stretching, no forcing now, right? Could be we're just a little tight in those areas, right? Yeah, you know, I mean, that's a good point, because sometimes if I'm kneeling or something, it can hurt my knees. Sometimes if I'm laying, even my tailbone can feel uncomfortable. Typically, they make things like kneel pads. I don't have any like knee, like ones that I put on my knees that I use or anything like that. I mean, that's just a preference, I think, more than anything. If it doesn't bother you to have like a kneel, like a, you know, something on here, I wouldn't worry about it too much if that feels good for you. But a lot of the times, just like whether a yoga mat or something, like I'll just have something around, typically a yoga mat that I can just kind of put on the ground for my knees or something like that if I'm on the floor. But yeah, that would be all I would suggest, is either like a kneel pad, sometimes, you know, like those little gardener things that you kneel on, you know, outside. You can probably find them at Five Below, the dollar store, a yoga mat or something like that. And that way you can put your knee and your, you know, your weight on that instead of the floor.
I have this thing, it's got a mouse on it sitting in a plie position, and it's for in front of the computer, but it's nice and thick. And it's really pliable, more than the stuff, the kneeling pad you get in the store. But this is for your wrists, and I have one for each knee because I've had both knees replaced, and this is perfect. It's under my knees.
Yeah, I'm spotlighted right now, so I don't see it, but I bet you that's wait, where did I just did something. I don't know.
It's an oval, so it's good for your knee. I mean, it's about the right size for your knee.
Oh, yeah. I see it. I see.
And it's thick, but not terribly thick. It's meant for your wrists when you're sitting at the keyboard.
Yeah, and that's like exactly what like the kneel pads look like.
Yeah.
You know, yep, very similar. Yeah.
And they're cheap. What, $1 or $2 a piece?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know they have, sometimes I guess the dollar store ones the phone might break down a little quicker. Yeah. Spend $1 on it, right? But
but this is for your wrists at the computer. It's got you can't see it, but there's a mouse sitting with his feet together, yoga position.
That's a great idea. That memory gel stuff. I know exactly what.
And that way, it's in front of the computer, and I could just throw it on the floor.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a great idea.
Double duty.